What is up, everybody? Good morning, and welcome to what is going to be the beginning of a very frustrating time for those who live in this space, in the gaming and geek culture space. And if you're wondering what exactly I'm talking about, I'm talking about the tariffs that are being imposed by the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump. And maybe a lot of you have not been paying attention to exactly what is happening, but you did notice that Nintendo decided to delay the pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch 2. And that got you thinking. Okay, well, I'm going to enlighten you a bit more if you have not been paying attention to the news and how people have been talking about these tariffs. So let's just call this tariffs 101 for gamers. And again, this is not to be doom and gloom, but I have to break it down and tell you what exactly is going on. So our president decided that after years or decades of having a decent trade agreement with various different regions in this world, that he was going to go and start a trade war, which is also going to start possibly in a recession because it's going to cause inflation. But we're not going to talk about that. That's a lot of information I don't want to devolve into right now. What is going to happen right now is, let's take this watch for example. We'll say that we export this watch. We export this watch to various different regions in the world. Okay, we are adding an extra 20% on that watch. Okay, so say you were exporting that watch to Japan. Japan's going to import that watch. We're telling Japan that you have to pay an additional 20% on top of what was already in place. So say again $100. So now you have to pay an additional 20% on this watch. So it's going to cost Japan or their Best Buys or their whatever various stores are in Japan that import this stuff an extra 20% on top of what they were already paying, or 20% of the $100. So Japan, the stores in Japan are going to go, okay, fine, we're going to import this, and the companies that import these watches are going to go, wait, I can't make a profit off of this anymore because now I'm paying extra on this. I'm not going to see the same profit as before. So what they're going to do is they're going to pass the extra 20% onto the consumers. And then of course they're going to raise a little bit more because they need to make their principal. They need to make their bottom line. So people then are going to go to the store and go, hey, this used to be $100. Why is it now $150? And that's just a prime example. So then Japan goes, well, screw this. Okay, U.S.A, since you're giving us an additional 20% tariff, we're going to now charge you 40%. So anything that gets exported from Japan, let's just say this phone. Japan says, okay, we're going to export this phone and we're going to charge you an additional, we're going to give you an additional 40% on top of that, on the base, right? So then Best Buy gets the phone and they go, well, I'm not going to absorb this 40%. So what exactly are we going to do? And then the board's going to go, we're going to pass it on to the consumers. So when you go to Best Buy to go buy this phone and you're thinking that this phone is like $1,000, it's surprise, an additional 40% on top of whatever they were selling it for. The stores are not going to absorb the cost. And here is the problem. Our leader thinks that we are okay with absorbing the extra price. They think that the stores are going to be okay with getting an additional 40% or whatever it is. These numbers are arbitrary. They're fake. I don't know the exact numbers. So this is going to make us pay more. This is going to cause us to spend more. This is going to cause us to have less money in our bank account. And you see what we're getting here. It's not just electronics. It's everything that we import in this country. And we import quite a bit of stuff. I don't know if Trump realizes that, but we import a lot of stuff, especially a lot of fruits. And now we're going to be paying more for that, which means a lot of us are going to have to buckle our belts and watch our bank accounts. But the main problem is, going back to the gamers here, is we will be paying more for stuff that we enjoy. All that stuff behind me, that price is going to go up. The phone, Steam Deck, the laptop over there, your TV, the microphone, the headphones, the lights, all this stuff is going to go up in price exponentially. And that's going to be a big issue. Not a big issue because we can't afford it. I mean, a lot of this stuff is privilege. We don't need it. We want it. But there are people out there who do need this. There are stores who need this. They need to sell stuff. If they can't sell stuff, they go out of business. They go out of business, people lose their job. So gaming consoles, there are people in the space who require this stuff to make a living. We need capture cards, or they need controllers, or XYZ. What about events like GDC or PAX? If vendors can't afford their stuff, they're not going to go anymore. That's going to make the events less leisure, if that's a word. And people are going to go, well, I don't want to go. There's nothing here. What about the comic book stores who can't afford these cool statues and busts and, God forbid, Funkos? What about the video game stores that can't afford the games or the controllers? What reason would you have to go into those stores? You see what I'm saying here? It trickles down. These tariffs are going to screw everybody. They're going to screw the people that are importing them, and they're going to make the people who are importing stuff reciprocate and charge us higher tariffs. And then that's going to cause people to not be able to afford the stuff that they want. And then it's also going to cause stores to possibly go out of business because they can't afford the stuff anymore, or they have to fire people and people lose their jobs. All of this makes no sense at all. No sense at all. But I wanted to dumb this down for you. I wanted to make it the gamer version so you understand, because again, I don't really think people in the gaming space really understand. And I do like the fact that when the Nintendo Switch, when Nintendo came out and was like, hey, look, we're going to have to pause the pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch 2 in North America, or United States of America, is when people really stopped and took notice and went, wait, what's going on here? Why is this a thing? What are these things called tariffs? Why are they going to affect me in the future? All this stuff, everything in my room, my hat, my coat, my shirt, everything is going to be affected. Everything. And I just wanted to make you all aware of this. Okay? I'm sorry if I'm scaring you or bringing doom or whatnot. It's education. And I don't think enough people in our space are talking about how this is going to affect us. All right. That said, if you did enjoy the video, do us a big favor, leave a comment below. I would love to talk to you about this conversation. And of course, like the video. And if you like what we do here at the Outerhaven, maybe considering subscribing to our channel. The more people that subscribe us, the more people will see us, because YouTube's algorithm is bonkers.
Gotham is bonkers, yo!
It's completely bonkers. I don't understand it. That said, I'm gonna get back to my coffee. I'm gonna go play some Monster Hunter Wilds. I keep saying Monster Hunter Worlds and Monster Hunter Wilds. And I hope you all enjoy your day. And we got this. It's just gonna be a bumpy ride. A very bumpy ride. Take it easy.